So, I was walking the streets of Night City, and I thought, why not make a video talking about this city, analyzing whether, after so much time, it finally manages to get closer to that lively city that we were promised before the game came out. We have to be honest, the current game is very good, nothing compared to what it was on its release date. Personally, I played it twice, at its launch on PlayStation 4 and now a few months ago on PlayStation 5, and there are certainly many differences. If you haven't played Cyberpunk 2077 due to the amount of criticism the game had at the time, I tell you that you are missing out on a great story, not an excellent one, but I do think it is very close to being one. This video is not about the story as such, nor its characters, but more specifically about the city. Later, I want to make a video talking about these other points, but not here. If you like these videos and the way I make them, don't forget to subscribe and give a like to support the channel. I really appreciate it. And like any good story, it all goes back to the release date of Cyberpunk. Everyone was playing the supposed game that would change everything, where they would give us an experience as real and futuristic as we had never seen before. And then what happened happened. There is not much to defend here. The initial state of the game was a disaster. Bugs, glitches, terrible performance. Only those with a very powerful PC or a PlayStation 5 could enjoy the experience and everything the city had to offer without so many glitches and errors. But even so, it was not enough, not even close to what we had been told it would be. Anyone who still had a PlayStation 4, as was my case, got a big surprise when driving through the streets of Cyberpunk, a very bad one, of course. The FPS were rock bottom, and the graphics were horrible. Therefore, the experience and everything the city had to offer at the time was overshadowed by the game's terrible performance. Months later, and after a few patches, a small light began to appear on the horizon, and I gave it another chance. I have to say that the experience improved a little, or rather, at least now it was playable. That week, I finished the main story, and although the gameplay and the city were not even close to what they told us it would be, the story did seem to me to be of excellent quality, and I was finally able to fully immerse myself in that cyberpunk world and everything that there was in it. So, when I finished the game, it was a mix of sensations, some good and some bad, but it was what it was, and I moved on to something else. Even in my dreams, I wondered if I would ever see the full potential that Cyberpunk would have to offer. It wasn't until a few months ago with a PlayStation 5 that I started playing Cyberpunk again, from zero. And indeed, it felt like playing something completely different, not talking about the narrative, but about the performance, gameplay, and general functioning of things inside the game. When walking through the streets, things had improved a lot. The NPCs had much better animations, and responses that gave much more dynamism to the city itself. Police behavior has improved a lot, which was undoubtedly lacking some time ago. And playing at 60 FPS and not 20, that was what made me enjoy this game again. Now, it was not only narratively spectacular, but it was also very fun to explore the city, explore areas, do orders, defeat enemy gangs, and, in general, fully explore Night City. From the beginning, I always liked the cyberpunk aesthetic that they built in this game, and more than anger, I was disappointed to know that everything had been left half done. However, currently, this game is much closer to what we were told it would be, with improved animations, a very fun skill system, and upgrades, which add a lot to the combat experience in which we are constantly exploring the alleys and corners of Night City. Driving through the city finally transmits something, an essence that was difficult to see at the start of this game. Now, with even a new expansion, which I think maintains and even improves the story itself, the city is more alive than ever. I am preparing a video for that expansion because it is so good, without a doubt. Going back to Night City, a city where Chrome and mods take place, you can feel that futuristic vibe at all times, in the enemies, signs, and buildings. This is a world dominated by corporations and corruption itself, not by bugs and glitches. It is very interesting to explore this world. But not only that, but to better understand this megalopolis that reflects in a certain way that technological and futuristic advance that humanity had, but at the same time, sowing new evils and corporate wars within it. Where to be the best at something, the price you pay is your soul. To be on par and become someone with a reputation within the city, modifications of all kinds are required. The enemies, NPCs, cars, buildings, everything is modified. It is a world where small things are strange to see. Individualism and people, increasingly extravagant, dominate the streets. It is a technological advance without a doubt, but a setback when it comes to being human. I don't want to give spoilers, but man, the story reflects and complements all of this very well. In Cyberpunk, you will have several endings depending on what you choose. 5 if I'm not mistaken, each with its consequences and closures for the main characters, both V, Johnny, Pan Am, and those who accompany us in the story. And all of these endings are so unique and personalized for the player because by understanding the city itself and everything that surrounds it, such as materialism and constant excess, you decide the final path that your character will take. You can let yourself be consumed by the falsehood of the same corporations and try to solve your problems from that side. Or you can choose to give in to the humanity that certain characters still maintain to find your destiny, even with its uncertainty. It's a very powerful message, and it's great to see these things in video games. The fact is that Night City feels more alive than ever, waiting to be explored. From the Japantown sub-district to Lizzie's bar, all these places have a masterful setting if you stop to contemplate it detail by detail. Going back to what I said about the NPCs, I have to say that after playing it again, the streets are finally full of them. Nothing like when I played on PlayStation 4 and there were 2 NPCs per street. The secondary missions that you find in the city serve to give depth to it, as well as explain very varied backgrounds and stories, and it is damn fun. The city and the history have just the right touch of drama and fun. They have very emotional and dramatic moments within the streets of Night City, as well as other very funny ones. To this day, I remember a secondary mission of street fights, where each of the fights has a different style and idea from each other. And the funny thing is that when I started looking for these missions, I came across a fighter with a grenade stuck to his face, and it was not until the fight began that with a few blows, the grenade exploded in his face. These missions are the ones that complement the game and the main story. They are missions that add real fun and variety to the game. And they are there, in droves, spread throughout the world of Cyberpunk, ready to be explored. This game was not perfect. It was not what they told us it would be. And of course, all this does not justify CD Projekt lying in many of its promises to players. But it must be admitted that the world of Cyberpunk is more alive than ever, with excellent characters, exceptional narrative, and a world that has left me speechless until now. If you liked this video, subscribe and leave a like. This game, despite the controversies, is one of my favorites, and I love making videos of it. Don't forget to leave your opinions in the comments. I'll see you next time.